Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I thought today it was about time that I made a video about something I've yet to do, which is I'm going to talk about my own car for once. This behind me here is my 1969 Hillman Husky. And I finished restoring this, well, I say finished as I'm a strong believer that no restoration project is ever finished, but it was finished about May 2024. I've had it since about June 2020. I didn't do all the work on it myself. I didn't paint it. I didn't do all the welding myself, but I didn't do the interior, but everything else was pretty much all my hard work. It's got, the wheels are 13x8 ATS Alley Cats. There's an interesting thing about these wheels, they're not actually the standard PCD of 4x4 inch, which equates to 101.6 millimeters. They're actually 4x100, and these have got some hubs on them that were modified from 101.6 to 4x100. So obviously it's got a BMW K1200. No surprise about that at all, but we'll have a look at that a bit later. Don't ask me what the color is. It's red and it's a Volvo red, but I don't know the name of it. I'll have to look it up. So this was a nearly no expense spared job. It was honestly, it absolutely broke me, but it was worth it. It was worth it. Once it's polished up, it looks really nice. Have a quick look around inside. So these seats I bought in 2016. They're Cobra or Corbu bucket seats. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. They were retrimmed by the very talented James Williams, and they've actually got heating elements in them as well, so they are actually heated seats. Now those of you that know your imps will know that this dash is from a Sunbeam Stiletto. I haven't even cleaned it for this video, but those around you will notice that these dials aren't the Sunbeam Stiletto dials. So these are actually the dials from the motorbikes, which I crafted into this. I actually made this black bit here out of a piece of aluminium, and all these holes I cut myself. And I'm a big believer in, you know, talking about the bits that aren't quite perfect, and this is beyond perfect. And annoyingly, there's one of these holes I drilled at the wrong angle. But anyway, I digress. So it's a Sunbeam Stiletto dash, which has been recovered in proper leather, and the glove box is done in Alcantara. Again, all done by James Williams. I've always liked the Golf GTI tartan, but could never afford a proper Golf GTI. So I've gone for the red tartan throughout here. Some people may say it's a little bit overkill, but I'm really happy with it. Original rear Husky rear seats, again recovered by James Williams. Alcantara headlining. Can't take any credit for this apart from fitting the dash and the seats and whatnot. I can't take any credit for any of the retrimming, but nice wooden steering wheel. Not sure what it is. I bought it at a national a few years ago. So yeah, it's fire it up quickly. So we got volts down here and water temperature, RPM gauge from the bike, and a nice digital speedo, because I haven't actually made that speedo work yet. Obviously the original one was driven by a cable, and I imagine that one was driven by the ABS, which of course we're not using anymore. So that's most of the interior. Sound system, I've got some speakers down here in the back, and I've got some more to go just here as well, there and there, but I've just never got around to fitting those, to be totally honest. On the switch panel over here we've got a heated front screen, which is something I forgot to mention, which every imp should have. Hazard lights, and obviously the heated seats in there as well. So that's what we've got over there. So obviously a Hillman Husky is very similar to a common imp van. It's exactly the same shape, except for Husky has windows in the side. I was originally looking for a van, but I'm very glad I went for a Husky because the visibility is phenomenal. Some of you may notice here the towel rail on the back. That was from, it fitted them to US imps as well as the spring specials, and I really like the look of them, so I managed to find one and got it fitted. The rear bumper's not perfect, but it's not bad. Great big sub in the back, because why not? I'm still trying to outlive my youth a little bit there. I'll just show you a quick picture of what it looked like when I first got it. Here we go. This is how far we've come a long way. Well, 31st of July 2020. So just a quick, but maybe a bit more on that later. So yeah, obviously as you can see, I've just got married as well, so I've still got the sticker on there for that. So yeah, it was a labour of love, that's for sure. I'd like to think that it was a full nut and bolt restoration, and I'd like to think that I did a good job of it as well. The headlights on this actually are halogen headlights, which are from a Mark 1 MX-5 with modern LED bulbs in them. So anyway, I think it's about time we had a look at the business end, so we're going to get the back open and we'll have a look at the engine. So here we are at the business end, and what I've done to get to the engine bay is just folded the rear seat down, slid the sub forward, popped open this cover off the back here, and here we have the BMW K1200 RS. On paper these are about 130 horsepower. I've yet to have this one dynoed, but it's probably somewhere thereabouts. It's going to be over 100, I'd assume, but one day we'll find out. Now this was absolutely spotless when I fitted this. It was a proper no stone left unturned. Everything was stunning, and I've done thousands of miles in it, and the dust is accumulated everywhere. This pipe here had to be changed. It didn't always look like that. It was a much nicer bend in there before. So this is not perfect in here. You know, none of the car is perfect, but I definitely I went for better than this, and this is what we've ended up with. But anyway, every day's a school day and all that. So BMW K1200 RS, originally a motorbike engine, obviously, and this is fitted using the original IMP gearbox with an adapter plate on it. So you remove the bell housing and replace it with this billeted alley bell housing here, and then that allows us to bolt the engine up. So we've still got 4 gears in reverse. You see a lot of people that say, oh, you want to put a Yamaha R1 engine in there, it'd be a screamer. And yeah, it probably would be, but it wouldn't be, you'd lose the drivability of the car, you know. So big fan of IMP engines. I love an IMP engine, but this is the only way for me. Just as a bit of a nod to the IMP, we've still got the IMP oil cooler down in here, keeping the oil nice and cool, and we've got 4 IMP filler necks here, which mount the throttle bodies on a 90-degree angle, because you can obviously understand the throttle bodies used to be upright like this, but there would be not enough clearance for that. So that's what we've gone and done here. I spent absolutely ages building a custom wiring loom for this, and unfortunately some of the tabs have come off, but pretty much all the loom apart from the engine loom is shrinks into this I don't know what you call it, this sheathing. It took me absolutely hours to do, but I'm really happy with the result. I do want to get a proper airbox on it at some point, because these cone air filters probably aren't doing it tons of favors. Batteries over there, which is not very tidy because it's not finished, definitely not finished that bit, so I'm not going to show you too much of that. Got a nice view of all the suspension from here, which used to be shiny once upon a time. It's now all covered in dirt, so you can have a good look at that. This wiring tape here sort of collects all the dirt and looks quite dirty once it's been used for a little bit. Okay, so we're going to have a look underneath now, and then I'll show you around there. So I thought it might just be worth mentioning, for those of you that have seen my previous videos will know I'm a big fan of LED bulbs. So I've got LED bulbs throughout the car to reduce the load on the alternator. So yeah, it's definitely a way to go for me. It also improves the visibility as you're driving along. You can see the headlights are impeccable, but also if anyone's behind you, they can clearly see you, unless you've got any, like, if you've got the standard bulbs, sometimes it's a bit like driving by candlelight. So yeah, big fan of LED bulbs personally. It's not for everyone, but yeah, even the interior bulb is an LED, so it's nice and bright and reduces all the load on the alternator. So here we are underneath the business end. I should have really done this video when I built the car from new, because everything's a bit dirty now. But anyway, I'm not going to pretend like it's perfect, because there are the odd oil leak and whatnot, but it is a very well used car. So but you know, I'm really happy with it. I spent ages having all my suspension blasted and painted, and it does clean up really well, but for the purpose of this video I have left it dirty to show that it does get used. I've got some brand new donuts on here. These are the Lotus Elan donuts. This is the oil leak I was saying about. So this conversion kit has been well used, and it was on my Clan Crusader that was quite low at one point, so it's just got a bit of a leak from there, but we've got all winter to fix these things anyway. I'm still incredibly proud of my brake pipes. These were all hand bent when I restored the car. These are made out of copper nickel, so they're not tarnished at all. They're a little bit dirty, but original copper, the copper pipe by now would have sort of gone all green, if you know what I mean. Lovely red braided hell hoses that I actually made myself when I worked for a hell braided hose supplier. I'm really happy that I had all this painted and not powder coated. Well, it's actually paint on top of the powder coat for one reason and another, but it comes up so well. 1-inch drive shafts, as the Husky would have had from new. And also, this is a bit anoraki, but the Husky and the van actually came with strengthened wishbones. So they've got all the extra strengthening in places where they break. I've got an extra bit on the top there, which is just to support the bearing carrier. When you've got wider wheels on, there's a lot of extra stress on that. So we've got that extra on there just to cover all bases. So, original gearbox from here to here. This is the adapter kit. This is the adapter plate, which is changeable between 1100 and 1200s. And then over here, you've actually got the engine itself. You can see up here, it says BMW on the side. And it's all well contained. You've got the alternator at the back there. You've got the starter motor up on this side here. Coil pack just there. And then I've got one of the lovely William Parry manifolds here, which is a beautiful, beautiful bit of kit. Makes all the difference. Some of my custom oil cooler pipes that I make in-house, and then the oil coolers at the top there. So it's by no means the cleanest or the shiniest engine, but it does go well. It used to be in my track plan originally. So if we have a bit of a walk down here, I've got one of Mike Dent's UJs in here, and I recommend everyone gets one of these. They absolutely transform the feel of the gear stick. And you can see where the fuel pipes are here too. So the fuel pipe is hard piped as much as I can throughout the car. It obviously runs on the inside of here now, along the floor here, following the curvature. And then it comes out in rubber just on the other side of those two bulkhead fittings up there, as you can see. That's the ECU tidied up the way out there. So here we go, we've got the undershield. It covers the handbrake and whatnot in there. And you can see we've got all the copper nickel pipes running down here. Used to be nice straight bends, but they're not as good as they once were. And then up here to the front suspension, it's a bit dark up here, but again, all the suspension will clean up really, really nicely because it's all painted. Fiesta disc brake conversion kit over here. And obviously you can see the outlet from the radiator there as well. So yeah, it was, I'm very, very happy with it, to be honest. All this underside here has all been treated in Raptor. No, it's Cobra, very similar to Raptor. You know, and I've done a really nice job of that, so I'm really happy with it. Really happy with it indeed. Rear rad. Now this bit was something I did last minute just to get myself to Holland because I had a couple of overheating issues without the rear rad. So it's very important, does make a big difference. But unfortunately, this isn't the sort of standard that I expect for myself. We could do this a lot better. So anyway, so there we are. The other thing that's worth mentioning, this is one of my favourite modifications that I did. I put some LED lights in here so that when you open the doors, you can actually see the boot area. The camera quality is absolutely terrible, so you can't see it, but it's definitely one of my favourite modifications. So there we are, that's my Hillman Husky. Something else I just thought would be worthy to mention is, originally from factory, the IMP, the Husky had sliding windows here that you would slide back and forth, but people do remake the seals for them nowadays, but they're awful and they just don't fit and they leak. So I've gone for these single piece windows, which I think suits really well. I did originally want to have these tinted and have some sign writing on it, but the person that came to tint them said you can't tint laminate glass because apparently it'll crack in the sunlight, so who knows. But anyway, a lot of love went into this car, a real lot of love, and I'm really happy with it. But it's, you know, it's people don't really go into much detail about how stressful and how difficult it can be restoring a classic car. It nearly broke me on a number of occasions, but I am happy with the outcome. But then you sort of spend the rest of your life worrying about getting it scratched and everything else. But you know, it does make a difference when you get some nice comments about the car. And it's by no means perfect, and there's a lot of things that people would say, oh, I wouldn't have done that and I wouldn't have done this, but at the end of the day, I spent the money now, I'm not getting it back, so I'm just going to enjoy the car, love the car and just get as many miles on it as possible, really. The whole remit when I was building this car was comfy, quiet and reliable, and I think I've hit the nail on the head. I had some issues this year using BMW donuts because all the Lotus ones were on back order. I had to try and do something to keep the car on the road. And yeah, so I had a few issues with that, but apart from that, it's been a really, really reliable car. And yeah, hopefully the paint will stay good and we'll enjoy it for years to come. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I've covered enough of it. If there's any questions or anything else you want to see, let us know in the comments. Thanks again for watching.